I'm feeling vibes on vibes. I'm a ticking dynamite. I blow your candle lights. You know I'm just that type. No, them no fit kill my vibe. Them no fit kill my vibe. Them no fit kill. Them no fit kill. Them no fit kill my. Wise man said, follow the stars. There you shall find a piece of advice. If you hit your enemies.
Hey beauties, welcome to my channel. My name is Egons. I teach pattern making and sewing. So today I'll be showing you how to make a tiered dress like this. This is a cute little dress that you can wear for formal occasions or even as casual dress. And you can make different versions of this tiered dress using same patterns, just with a few modifications. In fact, in my online school, I already showed how to create patterns and sew different versions of the tiered dress. So in this class, we'll only be creating patterns for the upper section. The lower section of this dress are just long rectangular pieces of fabric with different lengths and widths. But if you would like to learn how to create patterns and make different versions of the tiered dress, then I'm going to drop the link below in the description box so that you click the link and then you sign up. Once you click the link and sign up, you gain immediate access to these classes. So now, get all your pattern making tools. Let's start drafting our patterns. So we'll start creating patterns for this dress by tracing out our front bodice block. Now you're going to determine where you want your upper section to stop, and then you're going to trace it up to that point. So I want my upper section to stop directly under my bust, and so that will be about 8 cm from under my bust line. So the first thing we're going to do now will be for us to close the shoulder dart because we don't need it. So you're going to cut through from here and stop at the box apex. Then you're also going to cut through one of your dart legs. So now you overlap it just like this to eliminate these darts. And then you're going to redraw your shoulder line. Okay. So the next thing will be for you to modify your neckline. You can decide whatever neckline you want to use for this top. For mine, I just want same neckline, but I want it a little bit wider. So from here, I'm just going to drop it down 2 cm. And then from the neck tip here, I'm also going to drop it, take off 2 cm, just like this. And then I use my pattern master to draw a nice curve. So I'm connecting the 2 points together. So I don't need this part anymore. So this is all for the front part. Now we move to the back pattern. For the back piece too, you're going to trace out your back bodice block, and then you're going to stop at the same point where you stop the front part. And then we are going to also eliminate this dart. Now, one of the easiest way to eliminate this dart is just to take it off from here. The value of this dart is 1 cm, so I'm just going to take it off from here. This is one of the easiest way to do that. So from here, I take it in 1 cm, and then I'm going to just redraw this nicely and connect it to the armhole nicely. Okay, so that means we don't need this part anymore. And then I'm just going to straighten my shoulder line. So that way we eliminated these darts. And so we're also going to just ignore these darts when we are cutting this pattern. And then the next thing we're going to do would be for us to also modify the neckline. So like I did for the front, I'm just going to drop this 2 cm and then take off 2 cm from the shoulder. and I'm going to use my French curve or my pattern master to connect the 2 points together in a nice curve. Okay, so we don't need this part anymore. So, and that's it for our back bodice. Now the next thing will be for us to work on the sleeve. And to create patterns for the sleeve, you're just going to trace out your sleeve block, and then you're going to determine how long you want your sleeve to be. Mine is about 50 cm from the sleeve crown all the way to the hem. And then the next thing will be for you to draw slash lines so that you can cut them through and then spread out your sleeve to create that volume. So I'm just going to draw slash lines. So now you can either label your slash lines and then you're going to just cut all of them through so that you can spread them out. Okay, so once you're happy with this, you're just going to set this aside, and then you take a plain sheet of paper so that you can use this paper to spread them out. Now you're going to draw a horizontal line. This horizontal line is going to serve as a guide, and then you're going to draw a vertical line at the middle. That's the center line, and this vertical line is also going to serve as a guide. So now we're going to spread our sleeve pattern. So at the hemline here, you're going to determine how wide you want your sleeve to be. So that will determine how wide you're going to spread it. The wider you spread it, the more volume you get, the bigger your sleeve is. The smaller you spread it, the smaller volume you also have for your sleeve. So for my hemline, I'm going to spread them out about 5 cm. So I'm just going to start somewhere here at the middle. This is my center line. Make sure you don't alter the sleeve crown. They should be together. So I'm going to spread them out for my center line just like this. 5 cm for my center line. Okay, this is 5 cm. From here to here 5 cm, and from this part to this other sleeve, this is 5 cm as well. So if you're happy with that, you're just going to use your sticky tape to hold them in place. So I'm just going to mark it again so that I'm sure. Okay. So once you're happy with the way your sleeve is, you can see the way my sleeve crown is. I didn't spread it out at all, so it's all joined together. Once you're happy with the way you've spread out this your hemline, then you're going to use your French curve to draw a nice curve. So that when you cut out your sleeve, you're going to have something like this. I'm going to cut this out so that you can see it. So you're going to have a sleeve just like this. Now the next thing for us to do will be for us to place our tracing paper on them, on the 3 different patterns that we've just created, trace them out, and then add a 1.5 cm seam allowance all around it. So these are the 3 pattern pieces that we've just created, and I've added 1.5 cm seam allowance all around. And this is my center front piece. This is going to be cut 1 on fold, so there's no need for us to add seam allowance on the center front because it's going to be cut on fold. And this is the center back. This is cut 2 pieces. The back has seam allowance because we're going to leave an opening at the back so that we can wear our dress. And then this is the sleeve pattern. This is going to be cut 2 pieces. And then we have the 3 tiers for the lower section. So these are the 3 pattern pieces for the 3 tiers. And like I said before, we've already learned how to create these in the previous version of this dress, and I said I'm going to drop the link at the description box, or in the description box, sorry, so that you can click on it and check it out and see how this pattern was created. So now once you've done all of this, the next thing will be for us to place our pattern pieces on our fabric and then cut them out. The fabric I'm using is a soft African print fabric, and I'll be using about 3.5 meters of fabric. So depending on your size and depending on the length of your dress, you will need about 3 meters to 3.5 meters of fabric. So after cutting out your fabric pieces, the next thing will be for you to overlock them so that you can have a very nice finishing on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead now to overlock all these fabric pieces, and then we can start stitching. So we're going to start stitching the back side first, and then you place your center back pieces on the wrong side just like this. And then you are going to determine how long you want your opening to be. So for me, I just measured from here all the way down to this part about 25 cm. So all of this is going to be open. So I'm going to stitch from here now down to the end. Once you're done stitching, you're going to give it a very good press. The next thing will be for us to attach the front and the back piece together. So this is my back piece, and then you place your front piece directly on top like this, with the right side facing the right side of the fabric. And then we are going to now join the shoulder. You stitch the shoulder from one end to the other end, and then we join the side seams as well, from one end all the way down to the other end. You do exactly the same thing for this other side, and then you take it to your ironing board and open press the seams. After pressing my seam allowance, I went ahead to top stitch this back opening here, from here all the way down to the other side, because I intend to put a little button loop here so that I can attach a button to it. Now you can decide to do the same, or you can decide to install a zipper at the back. Now the next thing we're going to do now is, if you want to attach your button loop, you're going to cut a little strap of fabric to create the button loop. So you take a little strap of fabric just like this, and then you're going to cut it on the bias, just about, say about 3 cm wide, and then you're going to, it's going to be really small. Okay, so maybe about 5 cm long. Now the next thing we're also going to do, we set this aside for now, is you're going to take the measurement of your neckline from one end all the way down to the other end, just like this. And then whatever you get as your measurement, we're also going to cut a little strap like this, a bias strap like this, to use for piping the neck. And then the length is going to be whatever value you got here, plus about maybe 3 cm seam allowance, so that you can use it to finish it off very nicely. So you take your button loop and then fold it to the wrong side of the fabric, just like this, and then you're going to stitch it from one end to the other end. Now you trim off the seam allowance so that it won't be bulky inside. Now you use your loop turner to flip it over to the other side. Okay, so you're going to have something like this, and now you're going to just fold it just like this, and then we're going to attach it to our center back. Let me snip this off. So you're going to place it on the left side of your center back. So you place it just like this, and then just determine how wide you want the opening to be. Now let me try on my button. Okay, so this is just okay. So, and then give a little space on top here, about 1.5 cm for your seam allowance, and then you're going to stitch. You're just going to attach it here with your machine. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now would be for us to pipe the neckline. And to do that, you're going to take your bias piping just like this. Now you're going to place it the right side of your bias, this is my right side, against the right side of the fabric, just like that. Now you're going to give a little space, maybe about 1.5 cm, and then you're going to start stitching from here all the way down to the other end. Okay, so now you flip it over just like this, and then you fold it in, fold this one in nicely, and then you fold it in nicely just like this, and then you fold it all over like this. And then you're going to stitch from one end all the way down to the other end. So when you get towards the end like this, you also fold it in nicely, just like this, and then you fold it again just like this, and place it like this so that it will look nice and neat. So you have something like this. So now you take it to the ironing board, and then you're going to iron it out very nicely. Now the next thing will be for us to put gathers on our first tier and then attach it to the upper section. So we're going to run 2 lines of gathers here. You're going to start from somewhere here, maybe about 0.5 cm close to the edge, and then you're going to run your gathering stitches, the first one and then the second line. Okay, the 2 lines should be very close to themselves, just like this. And now you're going to pull the threads. The reason why we had to run 2 stitches is because in case one of the threads break, then you have the other threads to pull it. So you're going to pull the 2 threads at the back or the 2 threads in front. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other side, and then I'm going to show you how to attach it to the upper section. So you're going to spread out your gathers so that it will fit the width of your upper section. So I'm going to just spread this out until I get what I want. So I'm happy with this, and I have a little excess that I can use for my seam allowance. So you see, just a little excess here. Make sure that your gathers here is even so that it will look beautiful. And then you're going to also do the same thing for the back side. Now you're also going to spread this out as well. Now once you're happy with this, you go ahead and use your pins to attach the first tier to your upper section. So you flip it just like this, and then you use your pins to hold them together in place. You leave a little bit so that you can use that to join the side seams. Okay, now you do exactly the same thing for the other side. Okay, so once you're happy with it, then you're going to take it to your sewing machine, and then you join the side seams together. Then you join this other side together before you stitch everything together. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to try and match your side seams together. You can use your pins to hold them together in place. And then you're going to stitch it all around. Okay, so once you finish stitching it all around and you're happy with the way it is, then you can cut off your threads. So you're going to take it to the ironing board and open press your seam allowance so that they will lie very flat, just like this. And then you're going to repeat the same process for your second tier and for your third tier. Once you're done attaching your tiers, now you go ahead to finish off the hem. You fold it in just like this, and then you fold it in a second time. And then you stitch from one end all the way down to the other end. Now we go ahead to prepare the sleeve. You run 2 lines of gathers on the sleeve crown so that you'll be able to set it in very well. So the next thing will be to join the sides, and then you're going to stitch from under the arm all the way down to the hem. Now you take it to the ironing board and open press your seam allowance. Now you go ahead to attach your sleeve to your dress, the underarm of your dress and then the underarm of your sleeve, just like this. Match your seams and then use your pin to hold them together in place. Okay, so if you're happy with it, then you go ahead to stitch it all around. So now you go ahead and fold your sleeve hem just like this, and then you stitch from one end all the way down to the other end. You're going to leave a little opening somewhere here for you to pass your elastic through it. Now, to determine how long your elastic will be, you just place your elastic around your arms or where your sleeve hem ends, just like this, and then you cut it out. Now you take a pin and use it to pass your elastic through. Okay, now you're going to overlap them just like this, and then you're going to stitch it very nicely. So now you're going to stitch over this opening here to prevent your elastic from peeping out. Okay, so once you are done with that, the next thing will be for you to attach your button to the center back, and then you're going to give your dress a very good press, and that will be all for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please, if you do, give me a thumbs up and drop a comment for me to know what you think about this video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in my next class. Until then, do have a blessed day. Bye.